Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. I am Olakunle Kasumu. As Nigeria gradually moves into another election year, the political tentacles of Nigerians are coming alive once again. Therefore, what better time than now is there to cast our minds back to the country's recent political history. On a Platter of Gold is an engaging book that primarily chronicles the presidency years of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Nigeria's former president. From his meteoric and almost fictional rise to become Nigeria's leader to his shocking loss at the 2015 general elections, this book explores everything in between, plus the background story to Jonathan's emergence going back to 1999 and beyond. Joining us on Channel's Book Club today to review and explore the book is its author, Bolaji Abdullahi, who is a former Minister of Sports under Jonathan's government, a journalist, an editor, and currently the National Publicity Secretary for the All Progressive Congress, APC. Join our chat. Mr. Abdullahi, thank you for joining us on Channel's Book Club.
Thank you very much, my pleasure.
I heard your friends call you Malam.
Yes.
May I?
Yes, please. Feel free, I'll be Malam.
Malam, nice to have you on
Thank you very much, thank you.
On a platter of gold, how Jonathan won and lost Nigeria. Very engaging book.
Thank you.
At times, when I look at, politics can be very emotional.
Yes.
But at times I try to step away from the politics and all the sentiments and just look at the story of the individuals in politics. Just look at the human story.
Yeah.
Goodluck Jonathan has quite an interesting story, doesn't he?
Quite interesting.
And I saw that from your book.
Yeah, quite interesting.
On how he rose to power, how he became, the governor in Bayelsa, and then became vice president, and then became president.
Yes.
Politics aside, sentiments aside, it's quite an intriguing story, isn't it?
Well, quite an exceptional story. It's a kind of story, it's a stuff of Hollywood.
It's almost like fiction.
Yeah, it's fiction, and that's why I say his career is fictionable. It's something you can just you can imagine a scriptwriter sitting somewhere and imagine, because a son of a fisherman who went to school barely without shoes, according to his own campaign in 2011. Who rose out of nothing, to become a deputy governor, then a governor, then
just called
some twist of
fate.
Fate, became a deputy, a vice president, then a president. So, in fact, at the time that Jonathan became the president of Nigeria, he had not won a single vote to his name.
Wow.
He had not won, he had not gone out to tell anyone, vote for me, and he has won that vote to become anything. He had, continued to, find his way cleared for him by historical events, as they unfolded.
You served with him.
Yes.
So you probably know him better than, say, 90% of the rest of us. I'm curious, and I was curious while reading this. What kind of man is he? And has he reacted to this book? Has he read this?
I think he's a good human being. Essentially, I think President Goodluck Jonathan is a good human being. I've heard him say, when he said, my ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian, he meant it. He wasn't just talking, he meant it. President Goodluck Jonathan was not someone who will want power by all means, who had the nerve to say, if he was that kind of person, well, probably our experience in 2015 would have been different. Because as you must have read in this book, all kind of machinations were being thrown up, all kind of schemings were going on. But he didn't, he wasn't a part of it. And you could, like I said, like I reported here, many of those things that they were planning, they even didn't want to bring it to his attention, because they knew that if he knew, he was going to stop it. So I think as a human being, he remained a simple person. Again, that's his strength, but ironically, that could also be said to be his weakness, because he had around him people who were more street smart, people who were more ambitious, assertive, and desperate, and who didn't play by his own personal rules that he has set for himself. So they were able to goad him this way or that way, according to their own interests, according to their own whims and caprices. Then secondly, he was not able to understand the complications of power. You know, that power may not necessarily always serve a good ends. Power can also be deployed to serve not so noble ends. You know, where you have to be, as a leader, where you have to be bloody-minded, you have to be bloody-minded, regardless of whether you're a good person or a bad or not. You know, I think he couldn't rise above the limits set by his own personality as a good man, you know, to do some of the things that, you know, and I'll give you a quick example, also reported in this book. People said, oh, Jonathan tolerated corruption or condoned corruption. Now, what I found was that he himself said it. If you read Segun Adeniyi's book, Against the Run of Play, he told Segun that friendship was important to him. So if you are Jonathan's friend, he wouldn't go out of his way to hurt you. You know, but as a president, you must be willing to hurt people whether they are your friends or not. That is one. Has he read this book? I don't know.
You don't know. You've not heard from him.
You know, I've not heard from him.
How tricky was it for you to write this? I mean, I'm asking this considering the context of you being an ex-minister, I mean, a minister in Jonathan's cabinet, and also the circumstances surrounding your exit from that government. Yes. I mean, how tricky. I noticed that you were tiptoeing around all sorts of yes. You were telling the story, but you were almost avoiding sharing your own personal thoughts or opinions about all those stories. I noticed that. I wish you had done that. I think I would have enjoyed your book more if you had done that. But I mean, that takes nothing away from this. But
I think that I deliberately avoided giving. It's also not completely true that I didn't give perspectives. I gave perspective. What I didn't do was to put myself in the story. I tried to the best of my ability to take myself completely out of the story, because I wanted to write a book of political history, not an autobiography. And besides, I don't like selfies. You know, so I took myself out of the story.